Hi Deepu, thanks
Hi.
for joining for a few minutes to talk with us. So we have you here to discuss about JHipster today. First, maybe a quick introduction of yourself, who you are, what you're doing, what's your background.
So I think most of you know my name. So anyway, I'm Deepu K Sasidharan. So currently I work as a developer advocate for Adyen. It's a payment platform for enterprises and mid-market companies. So I started contributing for JHipster around 5 years ago. I started out as a someone who was annoying Julian with some tickets, and then he asked me why don't you build this yourself? And I was like, yeah, I can. And at that point when I started out, I think the JHipster community was quite small. I think there was probably around 50 contributors, then slowly we started to grow, and I think in the next 1 year there were a lot of new features added, and have been I think I coded most of my time I was spending coding JHipster, and I think I'm still the number 2 top contributor. Though the last 1 year I have been contributing less code and taking on more of direction, and that letting the young blood do all the work, and then setting direction, taking a back seat and watching them, and providing help when necessary. I think both me and Julian were doing that, and Pascal has been taking on more responsibilities and driving it more, which also corresponds to the new blood coming in and the new contributors. So I have been leading the project for I think more than 2 years now with Julian. So that's about me. And also originally I was a Java developer. I started out as a Java developer. Then I was a JavaScript developer, and now I'm a polyglot developer doing whatever comes my way. So.
Okay, so you said you stepped back a little from development on JHipster. We had Julian this morning who said he was doing more administration as a project leader. Are you also not only but doing administration, or what's your role? I think it's quite a little bit different than Julian.
Technically all 3 of us are project leads, but I think Julian is doing more of the administration part, and I'm doing more of so I make sure that I participate in all sort of discussions and roadmap directions. So I think for me, I stopped doing for example, I stopped picking up tickets and working on them, because given the size of the JHipster community now, it's not required anymore. Back when I started, it was required, and especially there are a lot of complex features in JHipster which I built originally, and which nobody was touching. For example, the blueprints and the yeoman generation part, the core part. I was the one who was constantly updating those and rewriting it once a while when things change, and upgrading to the new versions of Yeoman, the blueprints part, the hooks mechanism, and all these things. So at that point, there was a dependency on me to maintain that, because nobody was ready to touch those, because that was the most complex parts, and also not everyone understood how those things worked, right? So because you had to put in a lot of time to understand how it works first. So I for some reason put in that effort, so I understood how it works, so I was the only one touching it. But gladly, I think in the last 1 year, there were a few new people who were also showing interest in that part, and they took up that part and they started working on. So I was so glad that there is somebody else who knows the complex internals. So I was truly able to take a step back and take a step back from all coding activities and focus only on the leading part. And also Pascal has been doing a great job of making the releases and managing the project itself. So that burden is also reduced. So I think mostly what I do now is that, of course, I take part in all discussions. That is very important, because you have to. One issue with having a lot of young blood is everyone wants to do everything, right? So, and sometimes it is not scalable, that everyone wanting to do everything may not be scalable. So you have to have someone to come in and say, no, we shouldn't do this. So I think sometimes I play the bad guy part of coming in and saying hey, no, we shouldn't be doing this. I think somebody has to say that at some point. And and of course I still do the evangelization part for JHipster wherever possible, and writing about it and these kind of things. So yeah, I take that kind of a role. I think it's quite similar to what Julian does as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Pascal is more on the core project maintenance, and we are more on the administration and then guiding new people and these kind of stuff.
And aren't you missing the end-on part to actually develop, make bug fixes, develop functionality, because you had the step back? I guess it must be relieving a little bit from a workload perspective, but
it's a mixed feeling, because another reason I took a step back from development was also because I think kind of 2 years ago, until 2 years ago, for maybe around 3 years from the time I joined JHipster, all my free time was dedicated to JHipster. Whenever I was free, I was on the laptop doing something, right? So the work-life balance was not there, honestly, and that is also one reason I wanted to take a step back, have a life and that kind of thing. So I don't miss that, honestly, as much as I thought I would, which is a good thing for me, I think. And also I think having gaining more experience, and if I look back, I think that is okay. I mean, I still do some stuff, like for example, last week I recoded the entire JDL studio, which was fun. So once a while, yes, I still do. Whenever I crave that kind of coding, I still go in and do something, especially things that nobody was touching. For example, JDL studio, nobody was touching it. So I knew, okay, I had to go in and do that. So yeah, I mean, of course, there'll be some times when there are things that nobody wants to do. And then, then of course, I'll definitely go in and do those. But yeah, it's fine. I think it's fine.
Okay, and so back to the work part, professional part. You're of course an evangelist on JHipster. In your company, do you use it? Do you use it first, and are you using it a lot? If you're using it, are they receptive?
So I originally started using JHipster as part of my day job when I was working as a consultant. I wanted to quickly prototype something, and I was looking for something. That is how I discovered JHipster, and that is how I started contributing, because whatever JHipster had then was very basic. So it was not sufficient for me. I started building whatever I needed. That is how I started. And then I switched jobs and I moved to Europe. And in my second company, we used JHipster to build one of our products. JHipster was the core of one of our products. And now I switched to another company, and here unfortunately it's a payment provider with an established product and everything. So there is no scope for using JHipster as it is. But I did use JHipster for building some demo applications and stuff like that. So I still see that was a great fit, right? To build some quick demos and stuff. JHipster is still the great fit. So whenever I want to do a quick Java demo or something like that, I still use it. For example, I think I recently published a blog as well, showing an e-commerce application which was built using JHipster, of course. So yes, if I have a chance, yes, but I don't want to push. Just because I co-lead the project doesn't mean I have to push it to everyone, because you also have to see where it fits, right? Yeah,
to see if there are advantages.
Exactly. So if there is a fit, yes, of course.
Okay, but do you feel like they would be receptive if maybe not on the payment core, literally speaking, but maybe for side projects to go for JHipster, or do you feel like there might be some?
I do think anybody who has a CRUD kind of need, and in the Java base, if they have a CRUD kind of need, I don't see why they shouldn't use it, because it's one of the fastest way to do that. And of course, again, it has to match the use case. So if the use case is building a CRUD on Java quickly, then of course I'm pretty sure if you demonstrate what the platform can do, I so far haven't had people saying no when you demonstrate the platform, and if they had the use case, they have always been receptive. So I would assume the same. I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't be receptive if there is a use case.
Okay, and so today, what's your role on this JHipster Code? Except being, of course, the project leader and checking stuff and networking and all. I think you're leading some track.
Yeah, so I have been helping out Pascal with the beginners track. So yeah, just there answering questions and helping whoever needs. And honestly, Pascal did most of the work of preparing everything. I'm just helping out in answering questions and stuff, as I'm always doing, which I kind of like that kind of role. So, and I think as the project matures, that is what all of us has to do. I mean, at some point, I think all of us who were leading and driving the project have to take a step back and let new people take over and be more of a guide rather than like lead. So yeah, so I think that would be ideal, because our ideas and things that we bring in was definitely useful from the beginning. I mean, they are valuable, but as time changes, our ideas might stagnate. So when you let new people take on, I think things will keep on going. And yeah, I think as a community, JHipster has grown a lot. I think I have so I have seen it growing from like less than 50 contributor project to 500 plus contributor project, and from a single project to like 15-20 project organization, and the growth in popularity and everything. I've seen all that. So, and it would be unfair to say that is all because only few of us. It was the community effort. It was because of the great community that we had, and all those people who worked in the past, who are working now, and who will work in the future, right? So I think as leads of the project, I think our main responsibility should be to guide them and let them do their work and get out of their way. We shouldn't be in their way to when they try to innovate, and just be a support, just be a support when they need it. So I think that is what I want to do. So like be more like a guide.
Okay. And you're talking about innovation. So I won't say trends because we discussed it with John this morning, but what's for you what would you like to have in JHipster next breaking feature? And
yeah, I mean, one good thing about being in an open source community, especially a community like JHipster, where things are very asynchronous. I mean, I don't think any of us communicate in real time.
Yeah.
We have never communicated in real time. Everything is asynchronous. Decisions are made asynchronous, and most of the things are community driven. Features are community driven. So a community like this, I think that is the strength of a community like this, and that is why I can say that Julian might have a vision for the future. I might have a different vision for the future. Pascal might have a different vision.
Yes.
So it really doesn't matter. In the end, what matters is, regardless of all our vision, in the end, what goes in is what the community wants. We can propose our vision. We can propose, hey, this is what we want to do. And if others agree, of course, it will get done. And if others don't agree, then yeah, I mean, it's fine. Of course. Then that's how things go. And that's why JHipster is a success, because we were building what the community wanted, and we were building what everyone wanted, not just one person wanted, right? That will not scale. So for me personally, I think something that I have been wanting to do for a long time is to move away from Yeoman and to make JHipster completely a standalone platform, because currently, so we started with Yeoman. Yeoman is really good, but it has its limitation, and I don't think Yeoman was ever intended to be used on such scale. So I think even before JHipster 6, I think even when we started building modules for JHipster, we already started feeling the limitations. And when I was building blueprints, I reached out to some of the Yeoman contributors, and I was asking them, have you guys ever done any of this, or has anyone done something like this? And they was like, yeah, no. The only thing we do is like the composability and the module kind of stuff. So I was like, that is when we knew, okay, Yeoman cannot give anything more for us. So the entire blueprint system was built around Yeoman by bypassing some of the stuff, working around stuff. It's a bit hacky in some places. It was very tricky to get working, and it's still the most complex part of the generator. And that is because of the limitations that Yeoman poses at this point. So for me, it would be really nice to migrate out of that and make it completely independent so that we can do more stuff without having those limitations. And of course, there are some parts of Yeoman which is extremely useful for us, but those parts of Yeoman fortunately are modular. They are separate, so we can directly use them without having to use the entire Yeoman platform. So I have been discussing about that with a few others as well, and it seems like a lot of people in the community are open to that. It's just about the effort, because that's not something small. That kind of migration is a huge effort. So probably, we have to discuss further, and if we can find out a solution for a partial migration or like a incremental migration, then that would be something really great to do. And if we do that, then the platform will be even more powerful. Then there will be a lot more that we can do. That's something I probably would try.
We'll check for JHipster
8. Probably, or 7 or 8. 7 a little too late, but 8,
Thank you. I guess we'll go back to the track. Maybe you have a final word to give to the community.
One of the greatest things about the JHipster community is that I can proudly say that in so far we didn't have a lot of issues that many communities normally would face. Of course, we still have issues that open source in generally face. Like, for example, diversity is a huge issue. We don't have a lot of, for example, we don't have a lot of women or LGBT kind of contributors. It would be nice to have those kind of contributions, and we have been trying to push for these kind of things. We have been trying to mentor people who wanted to come into that world, because it might also be intimidating to come into a huge open source project with majority of contributors being male. So we have been trying, and so far, unfortunately, we didn't have too much success. Maybe we don't know how to do that properly. I don't know, but it would be nice if we can improve that situation. But other than that, I don't think we never had a huge drama in the community or huge issues, people fighting or these kind of things. So in a way, I'm glad that we have a really nice community of people who are really reasonable and understanding, and who can really work together even if they don't see each other. They can really work together, and they can be really cordial and show respect to each other. So I'm glad to be in such a community actually. So I thank all of them again, and I would like to invite more people into the community to be in this awesome space.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me.
And see you around.
See you.